What's up, guys? It's your boy MMA Striker here with a new video today. Now today I'm starting a new series called the MMA News Series, where I pretty much recap all the news that goes around in MMA throughout the week. And I'm probably going to do this series once a week, maybe twice. But it's going to be a daily series I do every week. So I look forward to starting this new series and keep it going for a while. And we have 5 topics I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to start with the first one by recapping this weekend's card. Munhoz Edgar, which was a great card. A lot of finishes, a lot of underdogs winning. Shauna Dustin pulling off the huge upset. Frankie Edgar winning the split decision win over Pedro Munhoz. I personally scored it for Munhoz, but I can see Edgar winning 100%. It wasn't a robbery. It pretty much comes down to around how you score round 1, in my opinion. However you score round 1 is pretty much how you score the fight, in my opinion. So I scored it for Munhoz. I think he landed the more damaging shots in round 1, but I can see Edgar winning that round as well. And what's next for these two? Edgar, I would do Dominic Cruz versus Frankie Edgar, to be honest, because excuse me, Frankie Edgar is probably going to be ranked 5 or 6, but he's not going to fight anybody ranked ahead of him. Like, he's not going to fight a Marlon Moraes or a Corey Sandhagen or a Cody Garbrandt or Aljamain Sterling. He's not going to fight any of those guys right now. So he's going to probably fight somebody ranked below him. And if he's going to fight anyone ranked below him, Dominic Cruz is the perfect one. Or you could do Jose Aldo 3, but I don't think that's a good fight for Frankie. I think Jose Aldo is the better fighter than him. I think he's going to be, if they were to fight a third time, I think Aldo will still win, even at this point of his career. So I think Dominic Cruz is the perfect fight for him. And for Pedro Munhoz, you could do Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munhoz. You could do a Rafael Assunção. You could do some good fights for Pedro. I'll probably say either Jose Aldo or Rafael Assunção as his next fight. And next topic I want to talk about is the whole Jon Jones situation, about him vacating his belt, and Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz getting booked. So Jon Jones vacated his belt last Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, last Tuesday or Monday. But yeah, he pretty much tweeted saying he talked to the UFC and he's vacating his belt and it's up for grabs, and that Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz is going to be for the vacant belt at UFC 253. Now, first off, that fight is a very good fight. I'm excited for that one. And I'm going to talk about that fight a little later. But I want to talk about the whole Jon Jones thing and what this means. So, in my opinion, the reason why I think Jon Jones vacated his belt is because I think he's going to heavyweight. I think it's going to actually happen this time. I think he's going to actually go to heavyweight. Because I don't think light heavyweight really interests him anymore, to be honest. I mean, he's been on top of that division for like about 8 years, 9 years now. So I don't see Jones fighting that much longer. I think Jones has about another 2 years left before he retires. So I don't think Jones fights that longer. So if he's not going to fight that much longer, I think he only wants the big fights, and that's at heavyweight. So I think he's going to wait to see how Reyes versus Jan plays out. Now, I'm not saying he's never going to go back to light heavyweight, but he's going to see how that plays out. But then he's going to wait to see how Miocic versus Ngannou plays out. And after that fight plays out, then he's going to make his mind up. He's going to say, okay, I'm ready to fight the winner of that. So I think he sits out to probably next year, see how the heavyweight title fight plays out, and then he's going to fight the winner, either Miocic or Ngannou. And to be honest, I think Ngannou is a harder fight for Jones than Stipe is. Even though Stipe is more skilled than Ngannou, he has more overall skills than Francis, but I think Francis is a more dangerous fight for Jones. And here's why. We all know Ngannou has the power to put anybody out. We know that. And there's been people who say, well, if Jones gets him down to the ground, it's over. But like I said in my Adesanya breakdown, Jon Jones gets his takedowns from the clinch. And if you go back and watch Ngannou versus Overeem, Ngannou bullied Overeem in the clinch. Overeem is known for one of the most nastiest clinch games in the sport, all the way back to his Pride days, his K1 days. Even in the UFC, he's known for having one of the best clinch games, and Ngannou pretty much manhandled him. So it's not going to be easy for Jones to just take him down in the clinch. And on the feet, Jon Jones likes to use that post and retreat defensive tactic, which worked at light heavyweight because he had the reach advantage. But Francis Ngannou has an 83-inch reach, so the reach difference is only 1 inch. So Francis can move around that and still tag Jon Jones. So it's a really dangerous fight for Jones. I still think he wins the fight, but it's a very dangerous fight for him. Now Stipe, on the other hand, that's a dangerous fight as well, because Stipe is more well-rounded than Francis. He can do it all. He can strike. He has much better boxing than John Jones. He can wrestle with John Jones. He's not gonna get taken down easily. He's strong in the clinch. Now, how Jones can beat Stipe is using his kicks, using the teep kicks to the body, using the body kicks, using the oblique kicks, the leg kicks. Stipe doesn't really check leg kicks, and even in the DC fights, DC used leg kicks very effectively in their fights. Stipe doesn't really check leg kicks, so if Jones can use his leg kicks to set up his combinations, to use his speed, he can win this fight. But I don't know who's gonna win that fight yet. I can't really make a prediction yet, but that's why I think it's gonna play down. Jones is gonna probably wait for Miocic and Ngannou to fight. Whoever wins that fight, he's gonna fight them next. But because heavyweight is not a guarantee for Jones. I don't know. They haven't negotiated really, so the negotiations still have to go well. If that doesn't go well, he might go back down to light heavyweight. Or if he even fights at heavyweight and loses, say he fights his first fight for the belt and he loses, he might go back down to light heavyweight to get his belt back. So I don't think he's done at light heavyweight. I don't think he can go back down there. The chances are probably like 45 to 50, but that's my whole thing on it. Now I want to talk about the Reyes and Jan fight. That's a good fight. A lot of people are counting out Jan Blachowicz, in my opinion. People don't really give him the respect that he deserves. Now, Reyes has the left hand, which put down Weidman and pretty much knocked out a lot of people. And Reyes, Jan has the right hand. But the one thing that's going to decide this fight is the footwork and the angles of Dominic Reyes, which gives a lot of people, almost everyone, trouble, even John Jones. It even gave John Jones issues in their fight. And Jan Blachowicz does not do good against guys with footwork. He pretty much freezes and he doesn't really know what to do. So if Reyes can use his angles and his footwork effectively, I think that's going to create a lot of problems for Jan. But I'm not saying Jan is going to I don't think Jan gets dominated in this fight. I think it's going to be a competitive fight, but I do see Reyes winning a decision, probably like a 49-46, 48-47. I just see him outstriking Jan, using his footwork, picking him, using his jab. I see him just pretty much outstriking Jan for the most part. Grappling wise, they both have good grappling. Reyes has great takedown defense. Jan has great takedown wrestling, takedown offense. So that'll be interesting. But I do think Reyes wins the fight. Now the next topic I want to talk about is, I kind of want to talk about the Smith Rakic card that's coming up this Saturday. Now this card is taking a lot of hits to it. A lot of fights fell off this card. Of course, there's a Beat versus Yair Rodriguez fight fell off, but I've been looking forward to this fight for years now. But it's supposed to get rebooked for UFC 254 in October, so that's good. And last week, Ryan Hall versus Ricardo Lamas got pulled from the card because Ryan Hall got hurt. And it sucks, man, because I'm really looking forward to seeing Ryan Hall fight. I'm very big on Ryan Hall. I think he has a lot of potential in this division, but it is what it is. I think he'll be back soon, though. I think Ariel Helwani tweeted it. It's not like a major injury that's going to keep him out for like a year. So hopefully he gets rebooked in the coming months. But Smith and Rakic is the new main event, which is going to be a 3-round main event, not a 5-round main event, because they got promoted to the main event on short notice. And it's a good fight in my opinion, but I'm worried for Smith, because in his last fight against Glover Teixeira, he took a lot of damage in that fight, and that fight was 2 months ago. 2 or 3 months ago. It was in May. It was the second card back from the pandemic, and he took a lot of damage in that fight. His teeth were falling out, so I don't know, man. I'm kind of worried for him. I hope he doesn't take too much damage in this fight. I don't think this was a smart move to take this fight this soon. I think he should have waited to probably like the end of the year or early next year to fight again. But because Rakic is a knockout artist, he's gonna try to take his head off. So hopefully Smith doesn't take too much damage in this fight. But overall, this fight is a great fight. And of course, we have Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magny as the co-main event. And Robbie Lawler is making his return since losing to Colby Covington. And after he lost to Colby, he kind of disappeared a little bit. Like, I didn't hear anything from Robbie Lawler after that fight. I don't know if he was injured or he just wanted to take time off, but he didn't say a word after that fight. But he's back on short notice fighting Neil Magny, which is a great fight. Neil Magny has looked good in his recent fights. His last 2 fights, he's looked very well. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm not gonna give away my predictions just yet. Friday's video, y'all hear my predictions, but this card, the co-main and the main event for this upcoming card is pretty good. I have to look at the rest of the card. I haven't took a look at it, but that being said, I want to talk about the September lineup of fights, which is a very good lineup. Probably one of the best lineups of fights we had in a while. So the 5th of September, we have Overeem versus Augusto Sakai, which is a decent fight. Overeem should win that fight. Based off his skills, he should win that fight, but you never know with Overeem's chin. All it takes is one for him to go down, but Overeem should win that fight. And then September 12th, we have the return of Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira, which is a good fight in my opinion, and a lot of people are writing off Glover for some reason. Thiago Santos is coming off a very bad injury. He tore his meniscus, his ACL, and his MCL all in the same fight against John Jones. And I'm glad the UFC didn't give him a title fight, his first fight back, because we don't know how he's going to look after that injury. We don't know if he's going to be rusty, if his timing is going to be off, if he's going to be the same as he was. We don't know how he's going to look, so I'm glad that they gave him Glover Teixeira as his first fight back. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Then September 19th, we have Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley, the grudge match. The fight that's supposed to happen about 3 years ago. And at this point in their careers, I think Colby Covington wins pretty handily, to be honest. If he can put the pressure and the pace on Tyron like he did against RDA and Robbie Lawler, I don't see Woodley winning this fight. I see Woodley freezing up like he did against Usman and Colby dominating, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Tyron can land that right hand and put Colby down. We don't know. But Colby has a very good chin. So I think Colby wins that fight. And then September 26th, we have the big one. The big card, UFC 253, Adesanya versus Costa. I already made a breakdown on that fight. I think Adesanya TKOs him, but overall, that fight is a great fight. And in the co-main event, of course, we have Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz, which that's going to be a great fight as well. And then October, we have UFC 254, Khabib Gaethje. That card is really stacked. I want to take a look at the rest of the card. I know there's a few fights on that card, but I want to see what fights are on that card so far, because this is a really stacked card. Okay, let's take a look at this card. Oh, they don't even have the card up yet. Hold on. Okay, let's see what this. Well, they don't have the full fight. They don't have the like. There's been fights that get announced, but I guess they're not finalized yet. But I heard RDA versus Islam Makhachev is supposed to be on this card. I think Zabit Yair is supposed to be on this card, but I don't think none of those fights are finalized yet completely. So the only fight they're showing is Khabib Gaethje, but that's a great fight. I made a breakdown on that fight as well. I think it's going to be the toughest fight of Khabib's career, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, Dana White did say at the press conference after Saturday's event, he said that Tony Ferguson versus Dustin Poirier is probably going to happen. Now, when I started thinking about this fight, I was initially saying that they should put it at the co-main event to Khabib Gaethje, but now I don't think they should do that. I think they should put it. Let's think. If there's a fight night card the week before Khabib Gaethje, so Khabib Gaethje is on October 24th. If there's a fight night card October 17th, they should make the main event for that card Ferguson Dustin 5 rounds, and then that'll be the smarter thing to do. Have Ferguson and Poirier headline the fight night card the week before the big Khabib Gaethje fight. That'll be a preview, a little sneak peek to see how, it'll be a nice little treat before we get Gaethje and Khabib. That's the smartest thing to do for the UFC, in my opinion. That's what I would do. I would have Ferguson, Poirier headline a fight night card the week before Khabib and Gaethje headline the pay-per-view. That'll be the smartest thing to do. But other than that, I think that's all it for the news this week. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on everything that's been going on in MMA. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have